What's going on, guys? So in today's video, we'll be exposing FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard for his false reporting during free agency as it specifically pertains to Kawhi Leonard, and in the process, we'll also be exposing his sources. So in starting, let's listen to the first piece of audio that not only exposed Chris Broussard's credibility as a reporter, but that also indirectly led us to his sources.
Kawhi Leonard, the big fish out there with Kevin Durant being injured for next season, and we're waiting on word for what he's doing. I've been told, yesterday, day before, that he is leaning heavily toward the Los Angeles Lakers, and there is internet chatter that he's already told the Clippers that they're out, and I've talked to some people as well close to the situation and said that that is indeed true. He has talked with the Clippers on a call. They didn't even get a meeting, and told them that they are out. So technically it's down to the Lakers and the Toronto Raptors is what I'm being told. And I'm telling you, Rob, I don't see him going back to Toronto.
Now, Chris Broussard just stated on his radio show that Kawhi Leonard had spoken to the Clippers on a phone call and informed them that they had been ruled out as a possible destination without even taking a meeting. All of this per his sources, which he referred to as quote-unquote people close to the situation. But the very next day on Undisputed, here is what Chris Broussard had to say regarding that same exact topic.
Do we think he has met with the Clippers yet?
Yeah, he met with them yesterday.
You sure?
That's what I'm told.
Okay.
Now, I was told before the meeting he was going to meet with them out of respect to keep his word that he was, had talked about meeting with them before.
You don't like to hear that, Skip.
Now, why would Chris Broussard report on his radio show that per his sources, Kawhi Leonard had called the Clippers to say it was over without even taking a meeting, but the very next day on Undisputed, confirm a report that a meeting did in fact take place between both parties? Well, here's the backstory. On July 1st, a Reddit user by the name of RD Ambition, who is a self-proclaimed Lakers insider on Twitter, broke the news that in a brief conference call with Lawrence Frank and Jerry West, Mitch Frankel had informed the Clippers that Kawhi Leonard had ruled them out as a possible destination, narrowing his options to the Lakers and the Raptors. Now, what can't be emphasized enough is that Chris Broussard does follow this account on Twitter. So when he stated on his radio show that there was internet chatter about Kawhi Leonard ruling out the Clippers, this tweet was his point of reference for that comment. Especially since that tweet had gone viral by the time Chris Broussard had started his radio show. Now, the second part of Chris Broussard's statement on the radio was that he had spoken to quote-unquote people close to the situation who were able to confirm this tweet. But since no reputable NBA insider had verified this, and we now know that it's because it was never true to begin with, then who could Chris Broussard have received this confirmation from? Well, that's where 22-year-old Ari Abraham comes in, who is a self-proclaimed NBA insider, as well as a devoted Lakers fan. And because he was the only individual to confirm this tweet, which went viral, it is then easy to deduce that this is who Chris Broussard sourced for confirmation of RD Ambition's tweet when he said that he had spoken to quote-unquote people close to the situation. Especially since Chris Broussard also follows his account on Twitter. But after Fox Sports ran this story on their website and noticed that no other reputable sports outlet was picking up on it, they then realized that Chris Broussard had obtained this information from an unreliable source, which led to them taking down the article that same night. And that is why Chris Broussard was singing a different tune the next day on Undisputed about Kawhi Leonard meeting with the Clippers as opposed to the night prior when he had reported the exact opposite on the radio.
Well,
he's going to the Lakers.
Really? Okay.
Like I said, barring the last second change of heart, I mean, you never know what can happen, but all indications are that this is essentially done.
Oh, it's
And I think what I'm told, look for guys like obviously Andre Iguodala, if he's bought out by Memphis, Alec Burks.
Now, what's happened since ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski broke the news that Kawhi Leonard was indeed joining the Clippers is that RD Ambition, who Chris Broussard still follows, deactivated his Twitter account only to reactivate it 3 days later and try to save face with an apology. While Ari Abraham, who Chris Broussard also still follows, tried to justify his reports and would also later issue an apology. Furthermore, neither of these individuals have either reported on or broken any other news around the league since then, which further proves that they were never insiders to begin with, and consequently, both have lost thousands of followers. And as for Chris Broussard, he issued somewhat of a backhanded apology on his Twitter account, where he pretty much doubled down on his report that the Clippers were essentially out until they were able to trade for Paul George. Which is also a lie, since we now know that Kawhi Leonard was working with the Clippers throughout the entire process to acquire Paul George.
But when they were able to finally talk to Kawhi Leonard, and he made it clear that Paul George interested him, and then Kawhi talked to Paul George about wanting to play with him, that set in the events in motion. And then Oklahoma City did a very good job of leveraging both teams to create an offer that was essentially unprecedented in terms of draft compensation to the Thunder.
I don't know if Stephen A. can corroborate this, but I can't remember in the last decade so many different people in the NBA trying like heck to get information and not being able to. I mean, from the last 24 hours, I've heard from owners,
Absolutely
agents, general managers, Patrick Beverley's on the Clippers. He does not know.
That's right.
All I can tell you is this. He could have already made up his mind. I don't have any more information than that. This is one of the, and as a credit really to Kawhi and the people around him who have chosen to really keep this private, we just can't find it out. I'd love to be able to share it, but we can't. And so as a result, I'm kind of just saying, I'm not going to believe anything out there because to our best efforts and the best reporting that we have here at ESPN, it's been difficult. So unfortunately, we're going to have to wait.
But when looking back at Chris Broussard's reporting during that time, which can only be classified as clickbait journalism, the question that should have been asked when all this Kawhi Leonard news was coming down the pipeline was why weren't any other NBA insiders reporting all this? Why was Chris Broussard the only reporter with so much intel on Kawhi Leonard and his free agency decision, while the more credible and plugged-in insiders remained relatively quiet throughout the process? Well, we now know that it's because Kawhi Leonard's camp did such a great job at keeping everything quiet and in-house that there was simply no news to report on, or at least not any that was 100% reliable. Which is why Kawhi Leonard's free agency should also be a testament to those reporters who understand that the most fundamental aspect of journalism has always been about getting it right and not getting it first. And while Chris Broussard's reporting over the past few weeks undoubtedly grabbed the headlines, in the end, his sourcing of information was not only void of any substance, but has now also put into question his integrity and credibility.
The guy or the guys who were your sources when you were doing it?
Right.
Did you feel good about them, or
they were good,
or were they good?
Because they were carrying me
You know what I mean?
throughout,
Because sometimes, you know, after the fact, you might go, you know what? I never really used these guys or that guy,
right?
And it wound up not being as good as I thought. Were these new people or old people?
They were good.
Okay,
they were good
so
sources and
people you used
I
in the
told
past
you, I'm
and
not
whatnot.
didn't make a big deal.
the guy or the guys who were your sources when you were doing it?
Right.
Did you feel good about them, or
They were good.
or were they good?
'Cause
or
they
did
were carrying
You know
me
what I mean?
throughout,
Because
yeah.
sometimes, you know, after the fact, you might go, you know what? I never really used these guys or that guy,
Right.
and it wound up not being as good as I thought. Were these new people or old people?
They were good.
Okay,
They were good
so they were-
sources, and
People you used
I
in the
told
past
you
and
I'm
whatnot.
not didn't make a big deal.
What is the reality right now with the Lakers, with Kawhi, and anyone else they may be trying to sign?
The reality is Kawhi Leonard's focused on Los Angeles, but it's the Clippers, not the Lakers. Number one, they don't have the money to sign him. And two, the idea of him being a third wheel on a team trying to create a super team, that has not been Kawhi's MO. The Clippers are poised to be able to lure him from Toronto. This will be a Raptors-Clippers fight down the end.
Grease all over my cheeks.